wishing for greatness, never looking back. Fear the war, check the score. Can't ignore talent, strength in the Lord. SAGU is the place to be. Is the place to be. SAGU is the place to be. Is the place to be. Yeah. Here we go. SID, baby. You ready? A night. On the ones and twos. Yeah. SAGU in the place to be. Yeah. Feels good, don't it? Hey. Feels good, don't it? Hey. Feels good, don't it? Hey. Here we go. Lions in the pack, never got slack. Wishing for greatness, never looking back. Fear the war, check the score. Can't ignore talent, strength in the Lord. Lions in the pack, never got slack. Wishing for greatness, never looking back. Fear the war, check the score. Can't ignore talent, strength in the Lord. Lions in the pack, never got slack. Wishing for greatness, never looking back. Fear the war, check the score. Can't ignore talent, strength in the Lord.
Aloha, everyone, and welcome to the Schaefer Center in Waxahachie, Texas. You have joined us for a live broadcast of tonight's feature volleyball match between your SAGU Lady Lions and the Wayland Baptist Pioneers. Should be a good one. My broadcast partner sitting to my right side, Miss Devin Winesweb.
Hey, John, how you doing?
Good to have you back, Devin. You left me hanging earlier this week in one of the most fantastical matches ever. And that was a bummer having to call it by myself. And I'm sure our viewers are much happier knowing that you're here to save the day. But nonetheless, we've got to go down courtside with Riker Russell. She is with our very own head coach, Head Boy. Riker, please take it away.
Thanks, Sean. Coach Moore, the next 4 games determine if you host the conference tournament. What do you need to do to get back into the top 4?
Well, right now we really are in the top 4. You don't, if you look on the website, it doesn't show it that way, but we just got to play well and take care of our business and do the things that we know we need to do.
Coach Giacomazzi went on the record to say that his team needed to improve in their blocking game, and they did just that with 8 blocks against OPSU Tuesday. How will that change your front row game?
It doesn't change ours. We're going to attack their front row just like we always do.
Kelly Kozak had 1 error for 19 swings Tuesday night, and with a .632 hitting percentage. How do you guard that defensively?
All we're going to do is set our block in front of our middles, know where she's at all the time. They've got to be in system to set her, and so we're going to try to keep them out of system.
Thank you so much, Coach. Good luck tonight. Back to you, John.
Thank you, Riker. And Coach Moore. So he's right. After MacU took a loss recently, that moved SAGU from being a half game back to now being a full kind of tied, but with a win tonight that will place the Lady Lions a half game ahead of MacU and put them back in sole 4th place. So it's important to get a win tonight against Wayland Baptist, Devin. And this has been a kind of a rivalry. Wayland's a rivalry team, and they play very good in the Schaefer Center. So anything can happen. I hope that this doesn't end up being a trap game, because there you can see in the Sooner Athletic Conference standings, Wayland is in 6th place, but 500. And for conference play. They're 8-8, and that's unusual for a Coach G's team. They usually don't come in at this point in the season with that kind of record. So we'll talk a little more about why we feel like the record is what it is. But hopefully the Lady Lions do not overlook Wayland Baptist tonight, because they, I feel like, could beat anybody any given time if you take them lightly. We're going to go down courtside for the national anthem and starting lineups.
Now we have a special presentation by Madeline Hartland.
When she came here to SAGU to play volleyball. So we wanted to continue this cause in remembrance of her and to continue to recognize her family. So this cause is also really near and dear to our hearts because it does affect so many people, and that's why we want to continue to keep it around, because it's so important for us to be aware of the signs and being aware of just what colon cancer is. So we're going to recognize a few families who have been affected by colon cancer. So if I do say your family, if you would please all stand up, and we would love to give you something just to recognize you and your family. So the first person we're going to recognize is Cynthia Smith, who's the mother of Emily Smith. The second person we want to recognize today is the Stalvey family. Calvin Stalvey is the grandfather of our player, Brittany Stalvey, number 6. Finally, we wanted to recognize the Heartland family. They have 2 family members who are affected, Tony Garnador and Bert Clark, who is my grandfather and also my great aunt. So again, thank you guys so much for coming out and for supporting our team, and let's play some ball.
And now the starting lineup for Wayland Baptist University Pioneers. Number 2, Charm Henderson. Number 5, Kelly Kozak. Number 11, Renzel Horner. Number 17, Sadie Hall. Number 19, Brenna Daniel. Number 22, Lucy Mahalova. And number 4, Jordan Brady. Head coach is Jim Giacometti. And now the starting lineup for your SAGU Lady Lions. Senior out of Round Rock, Texas, number 3, Madeline Hardline. Freshman from Round Top, Texas, number 5, Ava Myers. Senior from Fort Worth, Texas, number 6, Brittany Salaby. Senior from Round Rock, Texas, number 8, Sophia Ivy. Freshman from Waller, Texas, number 11, Emma Tompkins. Sophomore from Rosenberg, Texas, number 18, Jancy Akers. And junior from Waxahachie, Texas, number 10, Nikki Alligator. Head coach for the Lady Lions is in his 19th season is Hank Moore. Assistant coach is Nick Moore. Student assistant is Jessica Sodich. Officials for this evening's game are Pete Houck and Todd Hall.
And there you have it, the starting lineups for both of these teams. Again, if you're just tuning in, the Lady Lions are playing host to the Wayland Baptist Pioneers. And earlier this season, SAGU traveled up to Plainview and got a win, 3-1. So they played well up there, but this is definitely a team that comes in Wayland Baptist 500 in conference play this year, and they've proven they can win, but uncharacteristically they have taken on 8 losses, and so I think they're just trying to find their way in this conference. They're young. They only have 1 senior, so next year 5 of these juniors will be legitimate last year veterans. And it looks like on paper they may be running a 6-2. Do you know how to identify that, Devin?
We will know after just 1 rotation of Wayland going through. And it's interesting because you can really switch it up every single match that you play as a coach. You can decide that you want to run a 6-2 one night and then change it up the next day. So we were looking at some of the stats right before the broadcast, and it looked like their other setter, Renzel Horner, was their lead. And so tonight we're seeing a little bit different as he's starting number 22 for Wayland Baptist tonight. So we'll see here in just a few minutes what his plan is.
All right, the liberos starting the serve. That's Jordan Bredding. Ava Myers with a big swing, gets it to fall with an errant dig there by Brenna Daniel, the freshman.
It was a little bit of a sloppy start there. Myers was able to put it away to end the rally, but not a great passing start right there for the Lady Lions. So we'll need to see that cleaned up for them in this match.
Ariel Horton served. Good serve received by Wayland Baptist. Successful, but gets a free ball over. And they go to the middle. Maddie Hartline, who I say is the heart and soul of this team, with her energy and her emotional play. On Tuesday, when they took a loss to Texas Wesleyan, Maddie played a great game. She almost hit 500 for the night.
Right there you see her go back right after making that error. They give her another opportunity and she puts it away for a kill, which is representative of a really strong and mature player. You shake off one mistake mentally and then you're able to come back and get a point and a kill for your team, and that's what we need.
Well, Maddie is one of the 3 sensational seniors on this ball club. This is a good hit.
Interesting choice there to lean out and let the ball go. Coach Moore always harps it into his team that you don't want to let a ball go unless your foot is placed firmly on the sideline, and you saw there that was not the case and the ball landed in bounds. So there's a good reason for that coaching.
Nealer with a big swing, uses her foot to get it back in play. It gets blocked back in the joust between Hartline and Kozak. Almaguer reaches in, gets the dig. Mealer finds it, goes down the line, and that is good. That was a fast kind of play, not using the full system on either side several times, and finally SAGU was able to get in system and get a good play out of it.
And that was that whole rally was the definition of scrappy. There was a whole lot of reaching and trying to just get the ball off the ground, using your knee or your shin or whatever that was for Mealer, but it worked out.
I like that they've implemented soccer into volleyball. Oh, that was a mistimed jump by Jancy Akers. You do not see her miss those jump timings very much. It's Kozak back to serve. Going to Mealer. Mealer gets it over the block. System play by Wayland. Gets it over. Going back to Jancy Akers. It gets defended well. Ariel Horton. She's very good behind the 10-foot line. Very, very good. Just a little wide there. Kozak back to serve again. And that's wide out. Unfortunate error there. It developed a slight bit of momentum when you're on the road, especially a first set like that. You don't want to get the unforced turnovers going.
And another interesting stat that we saw was Wayland Baptist and SAGU are pretty comparable in their service errors, which we've talked a lot on this broadcast about how that's all mental focus, and so we will find that if that similarity remains tonight, that we'll have to, on either side of the court, they're going to have to get creative in how they get their points. If they're going to make equal amount of service errors, and they have to clean it up elsewhere. So we'll see which team maybe will pull ahead of that statistic tonight.
That was a brilliant play by Tatiana Markic. She used her left hand to kind of go down the line and put it right where no defender was.
And it's been interesting. The momentum hasn't really stayed on either side of the floor tonight. It's been a point-for-point fight. We're only 5-5 here in the first set, but we've had a couple great swings from the Lady Lions, followed by a couple silly errors. So things like that really prohibit the momentum from staying on one side of the floor. So really each new error or great swing is an opportunity to keep that momentum, but so far we haven't seen that on either side.
Brittany Stalaby back. Put the defense on the back line. That was well executed in service. Ava Myers gets blocked. Bad set. And that actually rolls off the net and goes out of bounds.
And if you could see the way that Sophie Ivy's hips aren't quite square, her feet weren't stopped, and those are the main rules as a setter. You've got to get your hips square, parallel to the net, and then you've got to get your feet stopped. And no matter how great of a setter you are, which Ivy is a great one, it's really difficult to direct the ball the right way if you don't do those two things first.
Big hit by Ava Myers there, but it gets blocked. She gets the dig back from the block. Now it's a free ball over, but Jancy Akers seizes the opportunity. And that is a point. It's a good point. Well done by Jancy Akers.
And big swings like that, this is an opportunity. Momentum is now on the Lady Lions side when you've got a big high momentum kill like that. And then we see right there, it was a great opportunity, and then they come back. Wayland Baptist comes back with a great swing. So it's, again, here we are, 7-7. 2 points later, and the show continues the same.
And that works well for a traveling team, someone who has probably been on the road all day, and you just want to keep it close. Give yourself a chance there at the end of the set to see if you can steal one. And that would be a very big momentum boost for the Pioneers. Ariel Horton gets it, but good block by Kozak. Kozak with another block. Going back to Myers. Myers gets up a little bit higher, keeps the ball higher, and just tools the block off of Kozak's fingertips, and with that kind of velocity, it floated out of bounds. Smart play by the freshman Ava Myers.
And anytime you're getting blocked consistently like that, it's the right thing to do to try and twist your wrist a different direction, maybe take a little bit of a different angle, just like that scenario we saw there, because at that point you need to use the block to your advantage. If you're not able to get a ball over, you've got to figure out how to go through it and use the hands in your favor.
Have you been able to tell in the Pioneers rotation yet? Have you seen, is this a 5-1 or a 6-2?
So he's got his freshman, the other setter listed here. She's currently playing right front, number 11, Horner. So typically in a 6-2, you rotate that setter in and they play the back row only. When you run a 5-1, you would have their right front, number 11 right now. She's on the front row, but she's still setting. So I'm not really sure what's going on here. It may have just been a start for number 22, Mahalova, I think is how you would say that's my best attempt.
Pretty good.
But he's got both of them in right now, so it looks to me as if he's running a 5-1 and she's playing in a different position. Yeah. And here's a true test right here. So 22's back to serve, and they've got their main setter, Horner, 11 on the front row. So we'll see here.
See what 22, where she runs to a spot on the court. She stays back.
Oh, yeah. So he's running a 5-1.
Yeah.
She's playing middle back.
Yeah. So, and we could see Horner's getting a lot of touches. She leads Wayland Baptist right now in assists per game. Alexander with the service. Kozak looked like a good set, and Kozak gets up, but it was a double.
Yeah, that's an interesting call. There was definitely spin on there, but there have been several other plays this game that I thought the same thing, and again, that's up to the ref.
Nice dink, but an unearned point by Wayland Baptist due to the errant swing by Mueller.
So before that side out, the Lady Lions were up 12-9, which was the biggest deficit, believe it or not, in this first set. It's been point for point all the way up. So the Lady Lions now pull ahead again for that 3-point lead. So this is going to be a true test to the mental strength already, even though we're just in the first set, the mental strength of Wayland Baptist, because they have been so close this entire first set. Now, will they lay down and be discouraged and just wait until set number 2, or will they pull back and continue making it a point-for-point battle?
Cross the court set by Wayland. Now it's a free ball over from SAGU. Good system play, but it's a tap over. Not much of defense needed to be played. Here comes nope, not a big swing. Kozak just taps it over. Good block, though. Quick play by Mueller to get it over. The lefty gets blocked from the middle. And that swing was Charm Henderson.
And that was a great, on that block, that was a great cover by Lady Lions number 10 libero, Almaguer. She had the temptation of getting a little sucked in to where the action was happening on the court, and we've talked also a lot about that on the broadcast, that there's got to be that one person that maintains the depth of the court, and if not, the block is going to go deep and there won't be anyone there to cover it. But she was fortunate enough to be able to reach up, get the ball up in the air. Ivy was able to make a decent set to Mueller, and then they were able to pull out that point. So it doesn't always work that way, but that was a great example of hustle in the midst of being sucked a little bit in on defense.
Well, Coach Moore, I had a talk with yesterday, and he was definitely working on some of those positional places on the court for defensive setting, and I saw him specifically work with Almaguer on just that, exactly, almost word for word what he was saying, trying to keep her in the right spot, not getting sucked into overly charging the play. So, and so those are things that, and obviously you being a former player of Coach Moore, you know how he coaches, and that is exactly how he dealt with that yesterday in practice.
Well, and the tendency, especially as a libero, your job is to move around the floor, so your feet are always moving, so the temptation is to always go where the ball is, because that's kind of, you're always going to have to sacrifice your body for the ball. So it's a natural tendency, and you've got to train your brain to pull back.
Charm Henderson connects on that one and gets the point. The lefty is a little sneaky, and she's got long arms, a really good-looking swing, and she converted that. She's just a sophomore, so it looks like she might be being groomed to be the next big hitter.
We've seen some inconsistencies tonight from Jancy Akers. A lot of great swings that have gotten some important points, but then some unforced errors at the net too, which is rare for her. She's usually a very consistent player, and there again with Mueller hitting from the opposite side of the court where she typically is, but not quite getting that top spin on the ball to keep it in bounds. We've seen several hitting errors from the Lady Lions side of the floor tonight.
And Mueller had a bit of a rough night against Texas Wesleyan on Tuesday night, and she's coming off of about an 8-game just hot streak. And, there's ebbs and flows in a season. It's hard for one player just to maintain a steady up pattern, trying to do extremely well in every game. Front line there, it was Myers, Jancy Akers, and Emma Tompkins. That's freshman, sophomore.
You saw in that replay there just a little bit too much of a gap between the block and the net, and anytime that happens, it's almost a 100% chance that the ball's going to go directly in between the players and the net. You've got to be right on the net without hitting it at all, because that's a violation. But there again, we see Akers with a great swing, a pivotal point in the set. The timeout was called at 14-0. Wayland Baptist, not 14-0, excuse me, 14-10. And Wayland Baptist has come back now, and the deficit is only to 2. So Akers came and pulled out a great swing there right when it was needed in set number 1.
And she needed that for a little bit of a confidence builder for sure. Myers leads this SAGU team in total kills, and that's why when she gets in to her rhythm and it touched, and I couldn't tell if that was going to be out or not. She was really close to the line, and that was interesting. I think that might have gone out.
Yeah, she was in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Yeah. Henderson pushes over. Myers gets a decent look at it. Emma Tompkins would have been there for a good joust, but no need.
And that's the right thing to do there, even though she's not sure that the ball's coming over the net.
Play it like it is.
Yep, you always want to be right there aggressively and proactively playing defense. Because even if the ball came just 1 inch higher and it came over the net, had she not been there to block it, that would have fallen directly in front of the net, and it's really difficult to recover a ball that comes over so softly like that. So that's why you want to be there, be aggressive and proactive, and think ahead, and Tompkins did it very well there.
And she has come along. She's part of the fantastic freshman crew that has come in for Coach Moore, which there are a lot of them, and it's just been an amazing ride this year with so many youngsters, all the freshmen and sophomores, and then just 3 seniors, a couple juniors, and then the rest of the squad are noobs. They I guess, would you call a sophomore an underclassman?
Yes.
Yeah. So freshman, sophomore. Predominantly, this team is made up of underclassmen, and they're not underclassmen on the bench. They get a lot of playing time.
Well, and what's interesting with a lot of teams, and Wayland Baptist is no different, but you see the size of the roster compared to what the Lady Lions have, and I think it just speaks to Coach Moore's belief in recruitment and how strong of a tool that can be for him, because he'll sign a good amount of freshmen, and even if they're not playing immediately when they come, the strength of the team so much depends on that practice time and that time together on the floor during the week when you're not playing, and that has obviously worked very well for him. So this roster is evidence of that as well, that to the naked eye, you may not understand why he has so many people on his team, but he's been coaching for long enough to know that makes a difference.
I believe this is Coach Moore's 19th year, and he has now entered into the top 20 all-time winningest coaches. And he is also in the top 20. He is number 21 in winning percentage. So not only has he got a lot of wins, but it didn't take him that long to get there.
And you see here, the Lady Lions were the first to 20, and we talk a lot about how it's a 5-point race all the way, 5, 10, 15, 20, and it's a lot more difficult once one team gets to 20 to pull back and pull out that set. So it's not impossible. Of course, we've seen it done many times before, but now the Lady Lions have officially pulled past that 20-point mark, and we are at a 6-point deficit here. So Wayland Baptist now has quite a bit more work to do, just simply because of the point of the set that they're in.
I mentioned that Coach Moore had gotten into the top 20 of all-time winningest coaches, but Coach Giacomazzi for the Wayland Baptist Pioneers is just right behind him, and just a few less wins, and he is right there ready to get into the top 20 himself. 2 coaching legends in NAIA collegiate volleyball doing battle tonight.
And we've seen a lot of plays from the Wayland Baptist libero, Jordan Bredding there, number 4. Easy to spot, of course, in her yellow jersey. But that rally especially, I mean, we know that the libero's responsibility is to be the first one on the floor, ready to get a ball up before it hits the ground. But she has been all over the court tonight, and she gets down, gets a really difficult ball up, and it's like it never happened. She's back up, ready to go to get the next one, and that's worked very well for her these past couple of rallies.
Oh, good block by Wayland Baptist, Kozak. An even better block there by Hartline, repaying the favor. Good defense, both teams. And that was hit 4 times.
You saw there a really, really tight set, a bit far outside on the Pioneers side of the net. A really difficult play as an outside hitter, unless you're a lefty, then that's your dream set. But
you're right.
if you're a right-handed outside hitter, that's a really difficult play to make. You don't have a lot of options of where to send the ball, so you're really just trying to make it over, which even that is extremely difficult just to keep the ball in play.
Kozak gets it over. Set to Mueller. Tools the block. It goes out of bounds. That's point SAGU. Ava Myers is back to serve. Here we go. That's deep. A little long. Unforced turnover. Lady Lions can sense the victory here, but Texas Wesleyan stole one away from them in the first set Tuesday night. Lady Lions had 23-20 lead and ended up losing at 31-29. That was a tough one. That was a good dive by Jordan Bredding, and she got her hand on it, just couldn't get momentum pushed back. Great effort, though. Lexi Alexander comes in to serve. Puts it into play. Nice hit. I believe. Yep, that was Tatiana Markic. Markic leads this team in kills.
Great scrappy play there, just sticking the arm out to get the ball back up. Great swings by Mueller, though, to return.
And that point is awarded to Wayland Baptist.
And you see there, Sophie Ivy, number 8 for the Lady Lions, is back row there. So you see her attack that ball in the air, making that back row attack call that we see.
Another big play. That looked to be Charm Henderson getting her hand on that block. I tell you what, she is going to be quite the player here in the near future. She's already having a great impact, but she is 6'2", Devin, and athletic. She can really get up. Ariel Horton gets it in. Just kind of dropped off the table there and barely got in on the line for the win. Lady Lions gave the Pioneers a little hope there. You could see the momentum building, let them back in and gave them 21. There you have it. First set is in the books. That's a wrap, 25-21. If you take a little deeper look into maybe some statistical information, you can see that it's a key figure that I like to look at, especially this time of the season where we're past mid-season. We're coming into the home stretch, and you can really see what the points per game and what you allow in points per game, and then how many points you make. And right now, SAGU in conference play. Yep, that's in conference play. SAGU is averaging 17, a little over 17 points per game, and their opponents are averaging 13 slightly over 13 points a game. That's a margin of 4 points. That is quite significant. And if you contrast that to Wayland Baptist, you kind of quickly see where the 8-8 comes from. And in conference play, they are 8-8, but here they score 14.5 points and allow 13.5 points. So they're clearing just positive 1. And that's not bad entirely, but that gets you, it's kind of an indicative mark at this point in the season. Usually where you are in conference, your wins and losses, I have noticed, is related to that points for and points against number. So I like to find little gold nuggets inside the numbers. Well,
From yours truly.
that might be a stretch, but I'm a little bit of a math savant. So.
Oh, wow. Well, I'm thinking back over that first set, and when I mentioned we see here a lot of obviously differential stats here. Kills for the Lady Lions 19-6, which you've obviously got to make more kills if you want to win the game. And surprisingly, that statistical difference there is even with we saw several hitting errors from the Lady Lions side, and even still high number of assists. Sophie Ivy just putting set after set up for that front line to really get those attacks that they need to pull the game out. So here in set number 2, hopefully what we'll see on the Lady Lions side of the floor is a little bit cleaner offense, less errors. A lot of them were unforced. I'll probably say about 75% of the errors were not due to a good block. But something to watch for here in set number 2, we talked about that back row attack play, and it's bugging me because I think I said the wrong thing. And I want to put
clean it up, Devin.
Sophie Ivy's name in the clear. So I think what happened there, we saw Jancy Akers go up and jump in front of that 10-foot line and attack that ball. And I think what may have happened is Almaguer, as the libero, if you ever step in front of the 10-foot line for that second contact, you cannot take the ball with your hands if you're the libero. If you do, that third contact cannot be done in the air. So I'm pretty sure that's what happened. I just had to set the record straight. I felt convicted. Can't lie on the air.
There you go.
So.
I wouldn't have said it was a lie.
Honest mistake.
It's just, you're wrong most of the time.
Oh, thank you. Such a pleasure calling this game with you. Such a pleasure.
JK.
Back to the game. Set number 2. Back to the game.
There is a volleyball game going on. Wayland scored the first point of the second set. They are now going to serve once again. Free ball by Sophie Ivy over. Nice set to Kozak. And she delivers a good punch.
You can see the placement of that swing there. If we make it all the way on this replay, you can see defense is set up well on the Lady Lions side. Looks like there was a hole in the block. And, when that happens, there's nothing that back row can do. You do your best to fill the hole, but sometimes the ball's just going to get through there and you have to salute and then move on.
Good block back by Maddie Hartline. And Emma Tompkins. That's a nice wall right there for Coach Moore. He's done well with using all of his height between Hartline, Tompkins, and the way he rotates and Jancy Akers. They play really, really good defense together on that front line.
And we saw that ball there from Wayland Baptist go wide from the right side of the court. And as a right side hitter, you have to be even more cognizant than on the outside left of the court, I think, of your shoulders, because for some reason, you just feel like when you're a right-handed right side hitter, you feel like you have so much space, but it's the same distance, obviously, when you're hitting outside. So you kind of power up even more, and so it's tricky to not let the ball go wide like that.
Kozak was a little bit further back from the net than usual, but she got a good hit on it. but easily defended into a system play for the Lady Lions.
And right there, Ava Myers, number 5 for the Lady Lions, one of Coach Moore's obviously very impressive freshmen, with a very aggressive defensive play there, being proactive again, ready at the net for the ball to unintentionally come over, and she puts the ball away.
Smart play by the freshman right there. Ava Myers saw that she had 2 blockers in front that were in fantastic position, and if she were to deliver a big swing, that was going to probably come back at her. So she lightly touches it for successful. It's not a dink, but a what?
A tip.
A tip?
That was technically a roll shot.
Okay.
So a tip is when it comes off your fingers. Both swings, though, the hitter will go up, drop their elbow. So if you see that elbow drop below the shoulder, that's a dead giveaway. You know it's either going to be a tip or a roll shot. So what to look for? A tip is where they take it with all 5 fingers and direct it that way. A roll shot, they're still going to make contact with the palm, but you kind of just put a little bit of a top spin on the ball, and think of the ball going in an arch when you're just trying to get the ball high over the block, and that top spin will then make the ball drop right behind the block.
Very nicely explained.
Thank you.
So she did that with great execution, because it was that's kind of hard to hit softly too, that soft, and it fell really short. That was a big hit right there. Very, very nice.
And we haven't seen chemistry quite like that offensively for Wayland Baptist yet. So timing was perfect there, perfect set, and beautiful execution, like you said.
Kozak having a pretty good match so far. Nice set. And the lefty comes in with her 6'2" frame. She's just naturally above everybody, no matter what. She gets up and jumps off the right foot, or the correct foot, as well as the right foot that time. Pays to be good in your technique. Mealer, been quiet a little while. She decided to wake up.
And here again in set 2, we're at that really close point-for-point fight. We've seen quite a bit more, I think, offensively from Wayland Baptist, and pretty similar to set number 1 for the Lady Lions. And even still, it's that point-for-point, not a huge pull away here. And with that error, we're at the 3-point win mark for the Lady Lions in set 2 here, 8-5, and we didn't have that until much later in the set last round, so it's happening a little bit sooner here.
Well, you can just instantly see the hitting percentages going up comparatively from last set to this set.
That's a really difficult play there to make from the back row. Ariel Horton for the Lady Lions. You saw her body kind of stretched across the entire court. It looked like trying to reach that ball.
Yeah.
But when you don't have the timing perfect on the set matched up with the back row attack, it's really difficult to do something aggressive. So that was a great play there by her to roll shot that to the middle of the floor.
She's a fantastic athlete and has proven that all year. Gets in. That dropped in really nicely. That's a good serve. Very, very good serve by Renzel Horner. She's going to get another one. That was a big hit.
Yeah, that play right there where you saw the Lady Lions just desperately trying to make something happen right before they took that defensive error there. Anytime you send a free ball over the net, that's like the last resort. You don't really ever want to do that. So they sent that free ball over knowing this is kind of like a recipe for whatever you want to do, and here we are, momentum on the Wayland Baptist side.
Okay, I've noticed something for the last 3 serves. They were trying to go short in front of Ariel Horton. So they're picking on Ariel at the moment. They've had good success 2 out of the 3 times. It was an ace. And well-placed serve, but they're picking on a player. And I noticed the time before that Coach Moore made a defensive change, and you don't see Mueller. She plays on the front line a lot. Normally she doesn't get a serve, but she stepped back that time and was able to get the serve quickly. So let's look and see if maybe they'd make that defensive change again to send Mueller to cover up the hole, because the serves are being well placed. And that is a very tough job because you don't want to get sucked in too much on the back row. And Ariel, you see she's playing a little bit closer. Now Mueller's taking a step back.
Well, and what you'll notice here too is
they're closing the gap.
Everything that happens on the floor, I wish there were lines that could be drawn, like in football, when you're watching the broadcast of a draw. You cannot cross certain players when you're on the floor. So everyone thinks that this is just what's happening on the court, but what you don't see is where everyone knows they're actually positioned. And so when you're trying to pull back like that to get a passing rotation done differently, you can't cross feet with someone that's one position behind you or ahead of you, or else you're out of rotation. So as a coach, you're trying everything you can to not use a substitution when you have a passer that's struggling. But when you ask like an Alexis Mueller to pull back like that, she's got a lot to think about. She's got to be ready to hit offensively, but also she has to make sure she doesn't cross over anybody.
Markic goes cross court. Now it's a free ball that might have been out of bounds. Henderson gets it over. Ariel Horton, roll shot over. Jancy Akers sees an opening, and she seizes the moment, knocks it down, finally taking the service out of Horner's hands. And she got, I think, 5 straight points for her team.
Well, and if that side out wouldn't have happened for the Lady Lions, that's when it gets really tricky. You get in a hole, and it's almost like the whole dynamic on the court changes. The energy is low. No one can seem to figure out how to pull out of this rotation. So that was a very timely offensive move there by Akers.
Markic. Oh, great recognition by Markic there, the sophomore, to see that there was a bit of an opening between where the block was and the net. So she squeezed it lightly, just the tip play you were talking about, and squeezed it into the space between the blocking wall and the net.
And when you have a shorter distance to go, that tip is a much easier play to control because if you think about it, when you're hitting the ball, all you have really to make contact is your palm. But when you're tipping, obviously you can't throw it, that's a violation, but you do have a lot more control with all 5 fingers directing the ball. So it's a lot easier to do a trick play like that. Another great example there, we see the set's a little bit tight, so Emma Tompkins gets up and you'll see her wrist shift over and fingers go straight down for that short tip there to the right front spot by Wayland Baptist. And Wayland has held the lead here for quite some time.
Yes, they have. That was a great middle block there, good wall. Tightened it up, didn't leave any space. I believe that was a solo block by Jancy Akers. John Henderson gets it over. Ava Myers just crushes the ball. Emma Tompkins swings hard. A lot of velocity. Man, Ava Myers rears back, gets it over, but well defended by Wayland. Myers again. Good block, good defense. Good set by Sophie Ivy. Reverse set back to Emma Tompkins, and it was perfectly placed. Tompkins just destroyed that.
And you saw she had a pretty open net there.
Yep.
Wayland Baptist wasn't quite able to close the block. Charm Henderson a little bit behind, and Tompkins took clear advantage of that.
I got a question for you after this point about that. What a setter is thinking. Good tool to block by Mahelova. Lucy, I hope that was it was a good attempt by me, but I hope I didn't butcher it too much. But when Sophie comes over and she sees it, I know that there's a play called often where she should go, but is she making an audible? So therefore, she's squared up. It looks good, and it would be easy to go to Ava Myers on the left in that position, but she decided to go behind, so kind of a reverse set there over to Emma Tompkins. Is that something that she makes up in her mind, or is that a called play?
So anytime you'll see it's kind of rare when you've got the same hitters on the front row for a certain amount of rotations. You don't see the play call quite as often, but anytime you've got a new set of hitters on the front row, you'll see Ivy really subtly call plays. But really in volleyball, the play calls are one of two ways. So you've got a free ball play, and then you've got an offensive play when the Lady Lions will dig. So anytime a ball is recovered from a free ball, all three hitters know what they're doing, no matter what. And same thing offensively, once the back row gets that great dig straight to Ivy, they know what they're doing. So you'll see the fancier plays where we see slides happening, we see stacks happening. Those are going to be more your common free ball plays because you've got more control. The ball's coming more easily over the net. But if not, Akers knows she's there, or excuse me, Tompkins knows she's there on the right side of the floor. And that's a call by Ivy last minute. If she's been going out a lot and it hasn't been going over, it's been getting blocked. Then she switches it up at the last minute. But all the hitters know at any given time what they're supposed to do.
Wayland Baptist has had a couple good runs lately, and they tied it up. And Ava Myers just put a kill in to go up one. And it was tipped there, so now it's tied again, 16-16. Malalova to serve, and just some bad defense there. Wayland takes a 1-point lead late in the game. So that's deep.
It'll be interesting to watch Coach Moore here as the lead gets closer and closer to the 20-point mark in the set. It'll be interesting to see when he decides to take that timeout. He hasn't really been forced to in this match yet, and here we are getting to that 20-point mark that we talked about earlier, where it's so much more difficult mentally to pull out of a hole.
Right.
But here we'll see if that setting error will maybe give the Lady Lions the momentum they need as Mealer comes in.
Is that a double touch?
Yes. Which again has been called very inconsistently throughout this match.
And a service error by the freshman. something that Coach Moore has really been trying to clean up with his team. They have gotten better over since the middle of the season, and they do try to serve the balls a lot longer and deeper, and to put the defense back and try to get an out-of-system type play, but a lot of them just end up going deep. Mailer really reached back there. You saw her elevate. She's very athletic, so she gets high off the ground. And that time she had plenty of time to think about it. It's a great set and was able to really get the shoulder into the ball to get a lot more velocity.
It was almost as if that whole play happened in slow motion.
Yeah, it really, I bet it felt like that to her. Great block.
That right there is a perfect example of why you've got to have somebody on defense deep, because it's obviously more common for a block to come short and you want to have people right there around the 10-foot line. But on the off chance that really aggressive swing makes the ball bounce completely back to the back line, there was nobody there. And in that serve right there, the net worked in the Lady Lions' favor.
Well, that was a favor from several points before. That exact same play happened against the Lady Lions and in favor of the Pioneers. And you see, I doubt you can see, but Coach Moore is having a little talk with R2. Not sure what that's about. We're going to send our court reporter down to get a little scouting information. You see our scoreboard updating you on some of the action that's going on tonight. Tonight will be a big volleyball night around the NAIA all over the nation. And we'll try to get those scores to you as soon as we get the scores reported to us. And there you see MACU, that's in the SAGU Athletic Conference. MACU loses to John Brown 3-1. And that happened a little earlier today, and we had adjusted, so the standings graphic that you saw earlier was with the updated loss, which moved temporarily, because SAGU is playing now, moved SAGU into sole position of 4th place. Charm Henderson. It's a good hit, and you can tell she's just trying to learn her way around the court where she can hit it. But when she gets that, she's going to be a really, really potent hitter, and that's going to be hard to stop because she can go up over everybody.
We see a really quick timeout here. We were in this position just 2 points ago, and the Lady Lions have pulled ahead here. And so again, Wayland Baptist is now recognizing that the Lady Lions have pulled past that 20-point mark in set number 2. They're already up 1-0. So these points here, the last 5 or 6 points, get more and more crucial, obviously, as you get further on in the match. There's more to lose the closer you get to that best of 5 mark. So you'll see a lot of coaches really using those timeouts here, where in set number 1 it's kind of get your feet wet, get warmed up, and now in set number 2 the stakes are a little bit higher.
Yeah, and you're on your home court. It's a must-win, really, because you're trying to maintain that one of those top 4 positions, and get that host bid for the first round of the tournament. Free ball. SAGU. And that was a great set. Put it in the wheelhouse of Jancy Akers. If he gets in the wheelhouse, it's pretty much a signed, sealed, and delivered deal. That's a great hit.
And you see the Lady Lions defense there giving everything they have from the back row. Sucked a little too deep there. It's really difficult when your weight's on your heels to be able to pull forward for a tip like that.
Mila now starting to find her groove and swing freely. That's 2 in a row for her.
So now Sophia Allen.
Good choice there by Markic to go down the right line there. Normally we've seen her just going cross court. Seems to be, you know, kind of her calling card to go across the net. And I think the defense anticipated that and left a nice gap open for her to go down that right line. Good block, Charm Henderson.
And we're here again at the end of set 2, really close in points. Set number 1, I believe, was 25-21. So we're in a really similar situation here. So Coach Moore is now contemplating if Wayland Baptist scores 1 more point even. You know, you want to start entertaining the idea of a timeout to kind of shift the focus and give the Lady Lions an opportunity to take a deep breath.
Good hit. That was Lucy Mahilova. Mahilova. And Devin, I see you coaching up here and trying to get a timeout for Coach Moore, but he said no doing.
He did go from sitting to standing.
True. And that's going to be, I'm not sure what the call was there. What's a 7?
Who's in the net? So, yeah, that's just a call of, and right there when you're at the net jousting like that, really, really easy for that to happen. But they just always want to call out who they see in the net in case the coach is, curious or disagrees.
Yeah. Okay. Well, it looked like both teams might have been in the match. I guess it's just a judgment call. But nonetheless, the point was given to Wayland Baptist. Don't look now. It is set point. So they will be serving coming out of this timeout. It'll be interesting to see who they go to. I say they try to go to short right.
You say the short serve has worked very well for them.
It really has. And kudos to them. They have been able to execute that. It's a tough serve to actually just do because it needs to have the right arc on it to drop in efficiently. Or otherwise, if it doesn't, it's easily fielded. That's short center. Oh, great placement for the set win. That was Mahalova with a great hit and recognition. Not too much on it, but just enough. And went deep, back left. Tip of the hat to Miss Mahalova.
That's a tough loss for the Lady Lions. They had a lead there, and that's just evidence of how quickly the game of volleyball can change. You give up a couple points, thinking it's not that big of a deal, and then suddenly the momentum is shifted to the other side of the floor, and you're looking at a loss in set 2.
We're going to throw it down to court side with Riker Russell. She's standing in with assistant coach Nick Moore. Riker, what does Coach Moore have to say?
Thanks, John. Coach, you won the first set and barely lost the second set. So what will it take to come away with the third set?
Yeah, if we just play anywhere close to our potential and hit the ball in bounds, we'll win. But right now we're not doing that.
Alexis Mueller is a front row player, but in set 2, we saw multiple times that she was pushed to the back row for serve receive. What is the reason for this, and how effective do you think this is?
It's just how we set up the rotation, who we need back there passing. It should work. Nothing's really working right now, though, so we'll see how it goes.
Thank you so much, Coach. Good luck. Back to you, John.
Thanks, Riker and Coach Nick Moore. So we were doing a little bit of the math there. It was 19-23. That means that there was a 6-point run to win that game by Wayland Baptist. What a fantastic comeback. Just keeping focused and staying in it, never giving up, and that's what happens. And then it's easy on the other side. You just won your first set, and I don't want to say it was an easy win, but by no means was it the dueling overtime set win, barn-burning win that SAGU and Texas Wesleyan were having earlier on Tuesday. And then it was almost as if the Pioneers lulled the Lions to sleep and then pounced.
Well, and in a set like that, it's evidence of Wayland Baptist has, more to lose. So they're naturally going to be, fighting a little bit harder just because they're in set number 2, down 1-0. And we're at that 4-point deficit. Lady Lions are 2 points away from taking that set. So they're giving everything they have. Meanwhile, the Lady Lions look like potentially they kind of sat on their heels a little bit, and like you said, we're lulled to sleep. And anytime that happens, if the other team is there and awake and ready to fight, then it's a great chance that they can take the set, and we saw that happen.
Yeah, and there you see the match stats up until now. So taking into account the first 2 sets, what a comeback by Wayland. Look at that hitting percentage. They went from basically .087, now they're at 13%. So that they had to significantly improve in set 2, where SAGU didn't move much. They were right at 10% and didn't move the needle much, didn't even make it to 11%. So they did regress. You can't really say regress, but they didn't show progress.
If you're not growing, you're dying,
Yeah, and the outcome was the truth to that cliche, I guess. Here comes Ava Myers. Ava just did not get turned into it. You could see right here, she's very open. She's going to get, but she didn't turn through it, and therefore hit it right into the net. Going right back to Ava. Stalaby with the dig. Tompkins, big hit. And now Ariel Horton comes in for Tompkins. She will be serving. Not a great set there, but gotten over. And Ava Myers misses again, just a little too much.
Well, and everything there looked really good. Great defense, putting your body on the floor, getting a play up. Good set by Ivy. So all the stars were aligning, which, that's always unfortunate as a hitter when you've got a great set, but you just can't get your timing quite right.
She showed a little frustration on her face, too. So let's see if she can correct that. Good hit. That actually bounced in. Yes, that rode the net. Looked like it was going to get out, but dropped right on the line. point, Wayland Baptist.
And you can see just based on the celebrations of each point with Wayland Baptist, they clearly have more energy and excitement here. Again, you see Maddie Hartline for the Lady Lions coming through, trying to pull that energy up. That's what she's known for, and they need it.
She can do it. That's right. A little bit of sagging shoulders, chin down. That was a tough loss. They know they got to just shake that off, leave that behind, and don't let it affect this set, or there will be another negative outcome. And the momentum still with the Pioneers. Uh-oh. No real joust. Big hit by Mueller. That was great hustle. Great hustle by Wayland's libero. Good hit by Kozak, but well defended. Markic gets it over. Now just a free ball over by Jordasia. Bad. That was happy birthday. Kind of an odd one over there in the corner, but that was Ariel Horton getting the second touch on that, and she right idea, just didn't execute it well and put it directly over for what you would call a happy birthday. Oh.
A little bit of a missed timing there. You saw Akers ready to take the play, but unfortunately, and that was tricky. You know, you don't really know if she went a little too far inside or if Ivy pushed the set a little too far out. But either way, clearly missed timing there between the two.
We could say it was a little of both, actually. And SAGU just not feeling the rhythm right now, but Wayland Baptist getting the rhythm. They got a 4-point lead. Kozak to serve. Goes right in the net. And this could be an opportunity for the Lady Lions. But they haven't done well with these opportunities as of yet. So maybe Sophie Ivy pulls them out of it. Henderson. Good block. Oh, Emma Tompkins immediately saw it. Great reaction. That came right back at her. This is a great hit.
And even with that, I mean, it's a great swing, but you don't quite see the level of excitement that would match that kind of a swing, which is just evidence that the Lady Lions are feeling a little bit of the pressure, and they're feeling a little bit in a slump.
Yep. It is. That's a good word for this. This kind of what you're seeing. The optic test is it's slumpy. Oh, almost a headbanger there. That could have been very ugly between Jordasia and McGurr.
Really close.
I knew what happened, and it still looked scary. There goes Emma Tompkins. she's starting to rally a little bit. Now you can see a little more confidence coming her way.
Some more intensity from the entire team coming together in that huddle after an exciting play like that. That's when you want to see the team coming together. You can feel a bit of the momentum changing. Those are all great signs.
Yeah, and they want to, you can sense what they really want is to get a point out of the system play. And that's seemed to be the intensity where Emma Tompkins earlier got that great swing, and that was kind of a gift to us. Not real excited about that. They want the system to work, which is a good sign, I think, if you're a coach, and that's the way you want your team to really understand the role they have and play the system well.
In that last play, we saw a great ace there.
Stalaby, she had a fist pump and another extra hop in there. She was excited about. That was a great serve.
You saw a little bit of frustration a couple plays ago with that back row attack call. Wayland Baptist coach clearly disagreed with that. And again, there's so many judgment calls here left up to the referees, which, in what sport is there not?
Right.
But there, you've got a setter at the back row that tries to take a ball over. Does she clear the plane to the net? Is she technically doing a back row attack? It's just so, subjective, and it didn't work in Wayland Baptist's favor, and they were not happy about it.
Well, that was a great hit. Goes off the fingertips of the block, stays in the air. Actually, I think that could have been gotten to, but it was almost as no SAGU player could find the ball. Wow. I heard that landed in anyway, but that was a big hit.
It's always helpful when you can clearly see the ball change direction. There are so many plays that it's so tricky to tell if there was really a touch or not. And so often those come at the worst possible times when we really just need something to be obvious. But that was a really obvious one. And you still can feel the Lady Lions really fighting for that momentum as they're still down here in set number 3, but they've come back and the point differential is a little bit less than it was.
Sadie Hall getting into the action. That's her second kill in a row. We haven't called her name much, but she's getting into the action and having a big impact in set number 3 here. Tompkins starting to feel it. You can just see it in her body language. Hitting the ball hard. She's encouraging her team to stay up. She knows she's coming out. She's like, you could just see the way she was waving her, her arms, telling the team, come on, stay up.
And she had a lot of really pivotal plays too that helped the momentum shift. So it's got to be difficult for her to now be out.
Yeah.
She can have that same energy from the sideline.
Ariel Horton, big hit. That was a fantastic hit from the 10-foot line and not fielded very well. It's a tie ball game. Horton, well received. Horton in with the first touch. Myers in the net. It's just not been her set here. It's kind of like the golf swing. It's just amazing in sports when when you're in the groove and you just feel it, that zone, and nothing you can do is wrong, and then you could come back just the next time and it all be wrong. And you're like, the first time I've ever swung at a ball or whatever the sport is, it's just amazing how the mind works. Myers gets the serve. That was good. A little fortunate there. It was going to be well placed, but it was a little low and hits the net, throws off the defense. Lions get their lead back for the first time in quite a while.
And you see Hartline there ready to take that block. We've talked a lot about that tonight. Being ready in and out of season.
Well, that was a great defense dig by the back row there. Oh, great effort. Oh, unfortunately. It looked like it was going to be a free ball, and Tevia Bell just couldn't get the right angle on hitting it back. But my goodness, Jordan Bredding. What an athlete.
Some interesting team dynamics there. Bredding obviously sacrificed a lot to get to that ball. And we see errors like that. It's okay. Bell went for it, made a mistake. That happens. But anytime that does happen, you want the team to come back together. And Bell did not go in for that huddle there. So some interesting frustration that we saw, which is never good on a team dynamic.
Right. Bredding. Wow. I'm going to go back and get these defensive plays and use it as a motivational speech for other sports. This is how you leave it on the floor. This is how you play. I mean, so impressive. Oh. Almost. Tie ball game. That was a great recognition of where she was by Jordasia and let that ball go. She stepped in to get it and then said, wait, that's going to be pretty hard. I think I'm going to let that go.
Smart call.
Yeah. It's one of those, I mean, it's a decision you make in the blink of an eye.
We've got some pretty simple plays here, giving the Lady Lions a 2-point lead now. And both teams, it's extra important now at this point in both the set and the match. You really want to be playing as error-free volleyball as possible. Both teams have stepped it up different points in the match. Both teams have also made silly errors at different points in the match. And right now, you can see they're both really wanting it. They both really are fighting for it. So you've got to do everything you can to do the little things right to keep the ball in play.
You can see the focus is high for both teams. Big rally there. SAGU needed to get that to create the distance, but I can tell you that's not too scary for Wayland Baptist at all. They were down 23-19 just last set and came back and took it, snatched a victory out of the jaws of defeat.
Well, and even here with the Lady Lions ahead 18-15. We've got another score update there for you. Just saw it pop up. Texas Wesleyan pulls ahead there 3-0. But even with the Lady Lions here at 18-15, it's a really pivotal point in the set. But I mean, we saw this happen in set number 2. They had a really great lead at what we thought was, a surefire way to win the set. They were at, I think 23 points. And so we can recognize that Wayland Baptist is not going to be a team that lays down. They're going to fight tooth and nail until the very end. So, a great thing to be reminding them in this timeout would be that, the game is not over until it's over. And
that's right.
Wayland Baptist is not going to just lay down and let this one go.
No, I don't believe that for a second. And they've been fighting really hard. You can see the focus. They know that this is a very, very important match for them. would put them above 500. And with about 4 games left, if they could win out, they know that that means other teams are going to post losses, puts them up into a better position for the tournament. I don't know if I haven't done all the math for every team, but even if they won out, it may still be possible they could get into a 4th place spot, I think, technically, but that would need a little bit of help from some of the other teams that are in that 4th and 5th position, like SAGU and MACU. They would need to probably lose some games that do not look likely to be lost in the near future. SAGU's coming up to a pretty good stretch of teams that look on paper should be easy wins.
And that's a really interesting timeout there called by Wayland Baptist. We were just in a timeout, 18-15, and it's coaching philosophies are also different. But that's his second timeout there. So now it's up to the 6 people on the floor to really make a change. So it's interesting, back-to-back timeouts. You can tell that they really feel the pressure here of every single point.
Absolutely. Well, better be a little bit early than too late. I think maybe the philosophy there. And if it becomes 20-15, man, that makes it so difficult, just psychologically. And it was a good timeout. They come out, they get the point, and now just a 3-point set. Oh, that is a beautiful hit. Cross court, a lot of distance. Ariel Horton. Tompkins checks in for Horton. And we have 2 sophomores and a freshman on the front row. Akers, Tompkins, and Miller. Nicely hit by Charm Henderson, doing really good things for her team.
And you can see the frustration there on Almaguer's face. Like you mentioned earlier, it's really in the blink of an eye you make a decision, and it really is not fun when it's the wrong one.
Yeah. Tompkins pushes over. Sadie Hall gets it over. Now back to Wayland. Ooh, big hit. That was just out. It was a good choice to let it go, but it was ultra close. Let's see if we can see it.
And it almost looked like that played off of Almaguer's face.
I know.
It's really the definition of sacrificing your body for the team.
Almaguer there to get it. Goes over to Tompkins. Tompkins, but that's good defense by Wayland Baptist. System play to Miller. Miller didn't get it all. But this is going to be tough. Great free ball over. And Miller hits it good, just didn't get the roll and the bounce off the net. That was a good hit. Just a little low.
You see some frustration there on the Wayland Baptist side of the floor with the referee. He feels strongly that a call was missed. And of course, emotions are higher at this point.
Yeah, I didn't see what actually happened there. I guess they're saying that Wayland was in the net, which caused it to keep riding, and then it went out of bounds. So if that's the case, and it did look like that in the slow motion replay, they may have touched it and it went out of bounds. Oh, what a beautiful hit. That's Markic, the team's kills leader. Wayland's pulled it to 2 now. That looked a little odd. I'm not sure if she just didn't get it all or if it got deflected. Let's see. Yeah, it got deflected.
Not the strongest swing that we've seen, but it was exactly what needed to happen in that one.
Tompkins. Everybody is in front of the 10-foot line. Everybody got sucked in on that. Nobody back. And Tompkins, she hits it hard enough that, it would be easy for the velocity to carry that ball way back on a good block. And that's exactly what happened. That was going to be fielded by Almaguer, and Stalaby just didn't trust the process. And I guess maybe she didn't see Almaguer and felt like she had to get it.
And when you start making little plays like that, sticking an arm out, not doing the little things right, that's when errors are going to start happening.
That's good defense by Hartline. You can see it on Hartline's face. She's not willing to drop another set like this. Good comeback by Wayland Baptist. But the Lady Lions have a little something to prove that they can actually close out a game. Stalaby missed again.
You see both times she just throws that one arm out. And you have, we talk about the chicken wing, you want to use that whenever you have no other option. You're diving last minute for a ball that's way far away from you. But when you're in formation and you can move your feet 2 steps one direction, that's what you want to do to give your hips the control of the ball.
And Almaguer and Stalaby just not on the same page right now. Coach Moore's seen enough, and he's going to grab a timeout because this is a tie ball game going into the final 2 points, or potentially some overtime, some extra points. We had a lot of that the other night on Tuesday night when Texas Wesleyan came in. Wow, what a barn burner that was. That was a lot of fun. That was the game that you left me kind of hanging here.
I was waiting for that reminder.
Had to say a lot of words that night, Devin, by myself.
I'm sure all of our listeners were very appreciative of the effort.
I don't know about that. Oklahoma City, they are ranked 22nd in the nation, which is an absolute joke. An absolute joke. That just, I don't even want to get on that soapbox about how the rankings work.
It's about time for that, though, this point in the season.
It is. But Oklahoma City is the best team in the nation. The absolute best team in the nation. And they will bring home the trophy. They're going to win it all. That's my prediction.
You heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen.
I've been saying it for several weeks, but that was a great hit there by Ava Myers. And now she's back to serve. After this set, maybe I'll go on a little more of a rant.
Can't wait.
We'll call it a hot take. missed block there by Maddie Hartline. It just kind of went under. It was a good hit. Actually, it just went off the fingertips. I thought it got a little lower, but not in the correct position, I guess. It's all knotted up going into extra innings. That was very close.
You do not want to miss a serve at this point in the set.
Yeah. And it was really close. It's one of those 50-50s. You're like, do I get it? Do I get it?
Hold your
breath.
Again,
Jordasia lets it go. She knew where she was. Just slid outside. Lexi Alexander gets it in play. Good defense. And Mealer gets the kill. This is a good hit. And it just drops straight down. It's a big win for the Lady Lions. I think the Texas Wesleyan game may have gotten into their psychology just a little bit, and it was just hard to close out a game. All those games going into, extra points, and they just couldn't find a way to close it out. And then Wayland Baptist comes and steals one when they were just 2 points away and had a 4-point lead. So that's why it's so important. Every point, pay attention. Don't lose your focus. Don't assume you're going to get the win just because you are almost there. That is just going to come to you. You got to earn every win. And that was a great testament, that last set, to sticking it out and keeping focus and going and getting the win.
Yep.
Now, for my rant on the NAIA ranking system.
Here we go. Buckle up.
How can Oklahoma City, how can they be ranked 22 in the nation? They have lost maybe 2 sets in 25 games. They are destroying people. They have 3 hitters that would be the top hitter on any other team in the nation. So I just don't see how they can be overlooked like they're being overlooked. And that 18-0 in the Sooner Athletic Conference, and I get it. Sooners doesn't get a lot of love from all the national raters because of the historical past of tournaments. And I agree, there's got to be some historical understanding, especially in the NAIA, but it can't be the most weight that you put into your formula to figure out what your rankings are. I say 10, 15%, if that's kind of a tiebreaker ideal. Historically, this team has outperformed in tournaments and things like that, and that's kind of a tiebreaker in your mind between 2 teams. I get it, but it seems like most of the raters just kind of vote along the party line or the friends line, and if you're not in the network, then you're not going to get the same feel good love about what you're doing. I mean, what do they got to prove? I just don't understand. They sit at the top of the ranking system in at least the DAC stats, the way and that's surely done by the wins and losses, overall wins and losses, and they're a little over 97%. And there's another team tied with them and one other team that has not lost. But, they're just destroying people. When you look at, there's no team in the top 10 that even comes close to their points for and points against. And they are, there is a 24.5 points for. Imagine that, 24.5 points for. And 16 points against. That's 8-point difference. The next closest team in the top 5 has a 4-point difference. They're outperforming in win margin by twice as much as the next team closest to them in winning percentage.
So in summary, national rankings are a conspiracy.
I didn't say that. You should be ashamed of yourself for saying something like that. But I'm just saying that I know it's hard to get it right, but that's a no-brainer. Devin Webb, the conspiracy theorist. Wayland gets it over.
The first slide we've seen of the night.
Actually, that's the second slide she's done. She missed the other one.
Yeah,
she did one it was in the first set.
Okay.
There was a slide play run to the outside there. Was actually coming towards us, but it was the same right outside slide play. Ooh.
Ouch.
That looked like it could have hurt. Ava Myers. She may have to get her Scoville scale going here. That was a lot of heat. Oh no. You could see she knew it. She knew it as soon as she hit it. You can see she kind of jumped backwards. Yep. She got a little too far in front of it.
Even still with the hitting error like that, it feels like a totally different team on the Lady Lions side that came out this time around. They high energy, lots of celebration. The hustle is back, as evidenced by that right there.
It was a great hustle by Stalaby and Almaguer. And they're saying number 5 was in the net.
Right.
Is that how that call was to be read? That's Kozak. Kozak. Kozak with a good swing over the middle.
It looked like there was some confusion maybe on what contact that ball was.
They said it was 4 contacts. I don't.
Well, it was, but I think number 11, Renzel Horner, she made that third contact there. She was in a place where, she could have turned her shoulders a little bit or even directed her arms to get that third ball over the net, but instead she sent it kind of up to the middle 10-foot line, which is typically what you do on an out-of-system second ball. So it looked like confusion on her part of if she was supposed to send it over the net or not, and then that resulted in a 4 contact call.
Yeah, because the receive was close to the back line.
Right.
Got it. And there you see in men's basketball, the Sooner Athletic Conference. Our Lady of the Lake from the Red River Conference crosses over, comes to the Schaefer Center, which happened earlier this afternoon. And the SAGU Lions get their first win of the season, 98-71. This is going to be a good season for Coach Deal and his Lions basketball team. They are stacked deep with talent.
And that's another interesting timeout taken with Wayland Baptist only having 1 point on the scoreboard.
This early? Yeah, only a 4-point spread. But I guess you just, Coach G doesn't feel like he can afford to let this get away from him anymore. So.
Well, and the same thing we talked about it towards the end of set number 3, where you saw the Lady Lions really defeated, heads hanging low, that kind of thing. We're seeing a similar sentiment now from Wayland Baptist. With each error, there's not the rallying around of your teammates to encourage you. It's just kind of like, okay, well, hang your head and we'll try and get it next time. Which, again, you can't underestimate the power of your mentality and your attitude in the midst of an error.
Kozak with a great kind of roll shot there. Half tip, half roll shot. She glides into it. Really was not much of a roll shot because the ball was so high, but it was perfect. Oh, big hit. Ava Myers really kind of has turned it around from the last set where she just couldn't find anything to having 2 kills, out of 3 kills, 3 attempts at least in this set.
And that's a tricky play right there. We've talked about it a couple times, having the network in your favor. And, you know, you see Ivy standing right there, but
back turned, though.
Her job is never to take that first ball. So it's tricky there because, you know, she's the closest one to it, but her focus is already on getting that offensive play up in the air. But then you say, well, she should have been aware of where the ball was, and, you know, the argument can go either way.
Yep.
But that's just an unfortunate play.
Markic with a good hit, tooling the block off of the SAGU blocking wall. Goes out of bounds.
Great swing there, Ava Myers again. We've been saying her name a lot.
Well, she's one of the core of the fantastic freshmen that have come in, and she is a high impact player. Leads the team in kills. Wow.
The ball got kind of caught there.
Stuck, yeah. Miller stuck it in the blocking wall. Just came to a total stop. And dropped in. Myers back to serve. That's deep. Barely. But it was out.
And that will no doubt be something that, excuse me, Coach Moore works with Ava Myers on as she continues her tenure here at Southwestern. You know, young players, you've got a lot of mental growth to do. So she's obviously got the power behind her swing on the front row. So now we focus on the, you know, the less curb appealing things, if you will, of a, you know, what seems to be a boring move in a serve. But it's crucial to get back there and be able to focus.
A good block, Maddie Hartline. Using words like curb appeal made me think you've been looking at houses.
Ha! Don't remind me. I'm hoping my entire house is packed up when I get home.
Oh, good luck with that. Market set up for a really big hit. She got a hold of it, but it was blocked and then dug out. Yeah, just a little too far over for Market to use that left hand to get it in. It's a good try.
And lots of out-of-system plays on both sides of the net in that rally, where you see outside hitters pushed way far outside the antenna, setters running all over the place, people taking the second ball that aren't the setter. So both sides just really got to clean it up. And there it was.
There it was. That was very clean. Nothing there to impede the way either, so she took advantage of that. Oh, wow. A little curveball sent in there by Sadie Hall. She's had a few good kills this match. Ava Myers getting in, and Jancy Akers hit it right into the block. Gets immediately returned to the ground. Ball meet hand. Ball meets floor.
Or face.
Yeah.
We prefer the floor, of course.
The floor. In that case, it was the floor. Mishandled twice. Serve receive not good for SAGU. The lefty, Charm Henderson, coming in and doing damage.
And again, you see that free ball sent over by the Lady Lions, which is essentially saying you're welcome for this really easy play for you, and they delivered there, right there. Wayland Baptist put that ball away.
Well, it's tied up 10-10. Trying to go over the blocking wall. Couldn't get enough down rotation on it, or the overspin, and it sails out of bounds. A good dive, just couldn't get quite in front of it, but great athletic play by Ariel Marquez. Sophie Ivy delivers the service, gets blocked immediately by Akers and Nealer. Turn could not happen.
That was a happy birthday for Tompkins.
Yes, it was.
She was ready for that.
She's had 2 of those actually today. Ivy. Too much. Making it too easy for the Pioneers to stay in this match. Now, Brenna Daniel is in. It's a great dig by the libero. Nice block. Nealer.
Very smart tip down the line there, and we've seen her be able to take out of system sets like that where she's not perfectly lined up. She can usually transform that into a really aggressive play, but right there she was able to get a good look at the other side of the floor, see an open spot, and made the smart decision to use her more controlled tip and direct it exactly where she wanted it to go.
Tompkins looking a little awkward, like the timing's not perfectly there yet. Last couple attempts at a kill just looking a little more awkward than normal.
Every once in a while, it's like the freshmen will remind you that they're a freshman. It's
Yeah.
easy to forget most of the time.
Yeah, well, this year it has been. Good defense. Akers was there with the solo block. And then Akers and Myers getting tooled. Redding gets it in clean. Tompkins measures it up. And that's a big hit.
And that's good for her, too, coming off of an error. We talk about getting a ball right after you make an error. You really want another opportunity to pull through, and she does that there, and then her confidence is back, and we're ready to move forward in the set. She's able to shake off that mistake.
Good block. Ava Myers. The ball just sounds different when she hits it.
Mm-hmm. You can hear it all the way up here.
Yeah. It's got a deep thud to it.
That was a good hustle there by Jordan Bredding. Really putting that hand out, going for the pancake, and she was so close, just inches away from that working out.
I mean, the way she just, without any fear, throws her body around, leaves her feet, and just makes these athletic moves. It's so motivating to give that extra effort. And if you watch this young lady play, it is inspiring. Hat off to Jordan Bredding. You see why she's the libero. And she's quick. Reminds me a lot of Celie Bruce.
Really fun to watch.
A lot of fun. And you see Bellevue dropping the match to the Viterbo V-Hawks. 3-1. Turbo is one of those teams that has always got a high ranking in the national polls.
What is a V-Hawk, do you know?
A Viterbo Hawk? I'm not sure. It's my best guess.
Educated one. We'll go with it.
Yeah. Oh, that looked like it might would have sailed out.
That was close.
But you can't take that risk trying to stay in the ball game, depending on your play to get you there.
Net violation there on Wayland Baptist.
Was she in the bottom of the net?
Yeah,
Is
it was
that
when
how
she
that
tried
happened?
to dig that play
Oh,
out,
yeah,
which
yeah,
is
see
so
it.
tricky as a
Yeah,
setter.
yeah. I mean, what can you do? Again, she leaves her feet and she gets vertical. Horizontal.
Gravity just kind of stops applying to her for a split second.
It does. She's amazing. Wow. Every coach's dream as a player, the hustle that you want and need. She almost delivered a knockout punch to Marquez. Watch this. And, ooh. Tompkins reaches high. And the refs missed it. They felt like that it was tipped. Let's see. Oh, it was close.
What's nice about the Lady Lions is, we've seen they are coached to self-disclose if
They
the
do.
referee doesn't get it. And
happened 3 times in the Texas Wesleyan match. So a lot more excitement. The energy that you had been calling for has definitely been in this particular set.
when you can see it reflected in the score too, it's amazing how close those relate to each other.
Myers, just really feeling it on in this set. Her hitting percentage has been is going to be off the charts. She's only missed a couple. That was a good serve, Ariel Horton.
I'm a little worried that one was going in the net, to
Yeah.
be honest.
Oh
wow.
my goodness. Whew. Big hit again by Ava Myers. She's having a big set here. Good serve, Horton. Nice diving dig there by Almaguer. That's out. A little too much. And out of place there.
Yeah,
so the system didn't get finished.
Yeah, and you saw how far she was reaching back. Her feet didn't get behind the ball. So really at that point, she's just pushing with all the body power she has to try and get it over the net. But there's not a whole lot you can do to really control that ball at that point.
Horton. Oh, good block. Oh, very nice. Betty Hartline.
A fun celebration from her every time.
Yeah, man. That was great recognition. Just hang in there. Not leave the play. And it paid off. Just 2 points left in this set. Potentially match. Good hustle both teams. And now it is match and set point. I should say it the other way. Set and match point.
Tomato, tomato.
R2 is asking. Someone got hit in the nose. Let's see. A little nosebleed happening. SAGU trainer tending to. Yes, that's Renzel Horner. Indiana Wesleyan, number 4 in the nation, doing what they have been doing to everyone all year, devastating their hopes. Bethel of Indiana, probably a conference rivalry. Indiana Wesleyan having a good sports year, at least this fall. Their football team is outstanding, in the top 10 in the nation.
Let's give it up for our trainer.
Trainer getting a little bit of applause from the crowd for cleaning up the floor.
So I'm not quite sure what the rule is here for how long we can wait for a medical timeout.
So I guess there's no instant substitution.
Well, typically there is, and it looks like that's what's happening now. But maybe for something like a nosebleed, it's been a while since I've seen that happen in a game, but they sometimes will try and wait it out. If it's not too serious, and they'll bring them back in. But it's also against the rules to play if you have blood on your jersey, so that's another variable there.
And there was a little bit on the floor.
Yeah.
So that's what they were trying to clean that up as well. So now it's cleaned up. A new player is checked in. It's Shavine Rubin. And that was a good serve. Lady Lions win on an ace. Oh. She was trying to get out of the way because it would have actually gone long and been out of bounds. Yeah. And we saw that happen earlier in set 1 to Wayland as well, where they just couldn't get out of bounds fast enough, or get out of the way fast enough, or it would have gone out of bounds. Mm-hmm. So not really the way you want it to go, but things like that do happen. And there you have it. Set number 4. Your Lady Lions win 3-1. Now they have sole position of 4th place in the Sooner Athletic Conference being a half game ahead of, and it's official now, of Mid-America Christian University, which lost earlier today. SAGU will go on to play in their next 4 games. Oklahoma Panhandle State, I believe. No, Oklahoma comes here tomorrow, and then they end up with USAO and I believe Langston. And so those should be, on paper, easy out wins, and should finish the rest of this season winning out, which would help them maintain that 4th place. Even if Mid-America wins out themselves, SAGU will ultimately be able to have that 1-game spread and keep in 4th place. And why that's so important is because you will be the host to the first round, and you don't necessarily want to be traveling in a one-and-done situation.
Yep.
Pressure is already on, but why add the travel pressure to that? So now we have down court side, Riker Russell is standing with Maddie Hardline. Riker, what does Maddie have to say?
Thanks, John. Maddie, you are known for the big energy that you bring to the court. So with that being your reputation and being a senior on the team, what did you tell your teammates after set 2 to not get them discouraged?
Honestly, me and the rest of the seniors and the upperclassmen, we just talked about how we need to choose to play well. We need to choose to play with energy. We need to choose to play to the best of our ability. Even if we're tired, even if we don't maybe feel like it, or we feel like we're dragging and not doing what we can, we just got to focus on playing our game and playing together as a team, and that's what brings us success.
For the past 4 years, you have been under the direction and coaching of Hank Moore. Tell me a little bit about what it's been like having him as a coach.
He's the best coach, honestly. He encourages us. He encourages us to grow in our walk with Christ, as well as our athletic ability. He encourages us to be good in the classroom as well. And so he's just been a great coach. He's helped me improve so much, and I'm just love to play for him for 4 years.
Tomorrow is a really big day for you because it is senior day. Can you tell us what one of your favorite memories as a Lion has been?
One of my favorite memories is probably just the trips with the team, whether it be going out to dinner with each other, making up handshakes, and just hanging out in the hotel room. Those are all just great times. That, these girls are my sisters, and I know that they're going to be friends for life, and so I've just really enjoyed hanging out with them.
Thank you so much, and congratulations on the win today. Back to you, John.
Thanks, Riker. Thanks, Maddie. That was fun. That was a lot of fun. Maddie not afraid of the camera.
No, she loves it.
She loves that microphone and camera, and that's awesome. She brings a lot of excitement to the floor. The senior leader, obviously, this year, and she is the emotional leader and really is supercharges this team. When we saw in the second set, the heads drop and no chin up. Maddie's always there to really inspire and encourage her teammates, and she is the consummate encourager. Good win today. Thanks, Devin, for being here with us and educating us and telling us more about the game and keeping people from being driven to muting us by me having to talk all the time.
It's my pleasure.
Yeah. Oh, well. Good. I'm glad to hear it. That means you're not going to miss anymore. Thank you. Anyway, there's a big game coming up tomorrow over at Lumpkin Stadium. Your Lions football team will be squaring off with the nationally ranked Langston Lions. That's going to be a good game. If you're in town, be sure to get out to Lumpkin Stadium. They have moved the time. It's going to be 6 o'clock kickoff time. And pregame will start at 5:50. So if you can't be there, tune in to the broadcast, and you'll hear Tim Roberts and Adam Ferguson lead you through a great excursion of football analysis. Well, until then, it's been great to be your host for Devin Webb and our wonderful student crew. I'm John Cookman, and you've been watching the SAGU Sports Network.